I had to use one word to describe this year's NBA playoffs, it would be the word dicey. I remember in the past, we saw the same teams face each other in the playoffs year in and year out, the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was a treat for some of us, and the others, and they got fatigued by it. But yet again, we see the defending champions not able to get past the second round for the 6th season in a row. The last time we saw a defending champion get past the second round was the Golden State Warriors, and that was in 2019. Anthony Edwards and his young Minnesota team beat the defending champion, led by Anthony Edwards' aggressive play on offense and defense, Cat's amazing defense, Rudy Gobert roaming around the court, Jaden McDaniels actually becoming a scoring option, and the leadership of Michael Conley. We saw Jamal Murray get compromised by the opposing team's guards. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels just aggressively hounded Jamal Murray. Numbers didn't look so great this series as well. Michael Porter Jr., he wasn't scorching hot as he was against the Lakers, but yet we did see Joker do what Joker always does. Moving on to the Mavs versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, the number 1 seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. Luka chokes a game in game 4, and we see them tie the series up to 2. Luka comes back, great game 5, great game 6, but Luka only averages 24 points per game, and Kyrie averages 15 points per game. Now, if you would have told me this before this series started, I would have said they would have lost in 5, at least in 5 games, but yet they pull it off in 6. Moving on to the East, the Celtics do what the Celtics do. The Cavaliers compromise, best player not on the floor, no Jared Allen. They beat them in 5 games in convincing fashion. This Boston Celtics team is looking good right now. Now, the Knicks versus the Indiana Pacers, this was so dicey. Compromise, Jalen Brunson injured, Josh Hart hurt, OG Anunoby hurt. Of course, no Julius Randle. And I saw Tyrese Halliburton not try to be Steve Nash. And that was good to see, actually, him being aggressive on the offensive end. I must say, the second round was probably better than the first. Welcome to the Daily Thinker, where we talk about basketball and theology from an unbiased perspective. Let's start off Minnesota versus the Denver Nuggets. Going into this series, I had Denver winning in 6 because this team is experienced. Joker is the best player on the planet, and he just manhandled the best defensive player in the NBA, in my opinion, which is Anthony Davis. I said, if Anthony Davis is not able to slow down the Joker, even though I know Minnesota can throw multiple bodies at him, but Anthony Davis, he wasn't even close to slowing down the Joker. I don't think Rudy Gobert or Cat can have the ability to do so. But I was wrong. It's not that they completely slowed Joker down. They slowed him down in certain moments. That was impressive to see. I must say this about Karl Anthony Towns. His defense was really great. It's like he accepted that role to actually play defense now and not be so offensive minded. I know it hurts and it sucks to have a defensive player of the year on your team and he cannot guard the best player on the opposing team. We've seen this before. We saw Giannis do the same thing. Jimmy Butler, he's on fire. Jimmy Butler is cooking, and now we like, who's guarding Jimmy? But it's not Giannis, even though Giannis is the defensive player of the year. The same thing rings true when it comes to Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is the best defender on the Minnesota Timberwolves. You can say that, but he's not able to guard Joker one-on-one. He's a great help side defender, excellent at that. Of course, without Rudy Gobert, I really don't see them advancing past the Denver Nuggets. Even at times, to me, even in Game 7, I think this was evident that when they went on that run without Gobert on that floor, it seems to me sometimes they are a better defensive team without Rudy Gobert. Now, let's talk about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards in Game 7, it really caught my eye because Anthony Edwards was not on fire in the first half. He started going in the third quarter, but he was still aggressive and he was patient and he didn't force it. And I know it's this thing when the NBA fans, we see players who are great on the offensive end, who are excellent, who can shoot the three, get to the mid-range, get to the rack, can shoot 80+% from the free throw line. And we ask them, and our desire is for them to force the issue, force the action. I don't care if you got to take 35, 40 shots. You got to go out swinging. And to me, that is a bad mindset. That's not a really good mindset when it comes to the game of basketball. Just my opinion. And we saw Anthony Edwards take the mindset of, you know what? I'm going to be patient. I'm going to let the game come to me. I'm not going to force. I'm going to get into the paint. I'm going to kick out the shooters. And you know what? Since I'm not going on offense, let me step up on defense. Let me guard Jamal Murray. And from it just became contagious, to be honest, his defense on Jamal Murray, and the team start playing defense even better because Anthony Edwards said, you know what? I'm not really going on the offensive end. I'm committed on the defensive end. And his defense really sparked his offense. And we saw him even say, hey, I got to score in transition.
If I get to the rim, it got to be in transition. You know I'm going to stay with it. You know I'm going to stay with it.
Scoring against this set defense is pretty tough right now because they're sending doubles every single time I touch it. I'm not able to run a high screen and roll and go downhill because I have another defender coming my way. And he trusted his teammates. And I'm glad that he did that and it didn't force the issue. It's always this thing, force the issue, force the issue, force the issue. Take 30 shots. Take 35 shots if you're the best player. I think in the third quarter, I'm like, Anthony Edwards only took 9 shots so far. And they're coming back right now because he's aggressive, getting to the basket, kicking it out, but he's actually making up for not being so great on offense by being superb on defense. And that was something to consider there. And Jamal Murray, he didn't have a great playoff run this year. He really did. I mean, even though he had great moments, but not a great run overall. Great moments, not a great run. Michael Porter Jr., great run against the Lakers. Aaron Gordon, games here and there. No, it's not that much consistency from this Nuggets team because basically you gave away your whole bench. No Bruce Brown, no Jeff Green. Those dudes were valuable. They were huge in last year's title run. And you lose that, and now you're pushing the limits with your starting five, asking for more, asking Joker to be a facilitator, play defense, guard everybody who comes into the paint or makes it below the free throw line. And now you're asking him to score as well. It's taking a toll on his body. And you can see them saying that, like Jamal Murray's like this mentally, it's a lot.
Just mentally and physically, conjuring up the energy to fight like you're being hunted. I think that's the emotion. I think when you're the hunter, you have so much more motivation, and you grasp onto anything to prove everybody wrong, and you have a constant chip on your shoulder. I think, as the winner, having had won, I think I don't know. I feel like we should have won tonight. That's the tough part,
That's what Jamal Murray said, not me. So, and I know this is going back to Golden State versus the Cavs. We really had like mental fatigue, basketball fatigue, seeing these teams in the finals, not appreciating how hard it is to get back to the finals, like to make multiple trips to the finals year in and year out. You play basketball almost for a full year, and then you start right back. You end in June, you start in October. It's not easy to do. So I really think we have to start giving teams credit for making multiple final trips years after year after year after year after year, because it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do at all. But this Denver Nuggets team, I said it. I said this Denver Nuggets team reminded me of the Golden State Warriors doing that Lakers series. The offense was just so potent. They move the ball. They move around good. They do these back screens. They cut, great passing. The flow of offense is just phenomenal. But really didn't see much of that in this Minnesota Timberwolves series. And they made history. They really did. The first time in NBA history, teams are 20-0 when up 15 points at halftime. They were up 15 points at halftime, up 20 points in the third quarter, but yet they still lose. And this is to a young superstar in Anthony Edwards, who is only 22 years old. He has the mental strength, the mental capacity to say, you know what, my shot is not going. Let me play defense. Let me do something else to affect the game. So to make history like that after winning you won 3 games in Ball Arena. Tell me the last time somebody did that. One team winning 3 games in Ball Arena in the playoffs. That is, I mean, I'm almost speechless here. Just thinking about what the Minnesota Timberwolves just did to the Denver Nuggets, my pick to win this year's NBA championship. Anthony Edwards started cooking in the third quarter. He started going. He started feeling himself. He was able to get to the rim, making a couple of shots. He started to see the ball go into the basket. And to be honest, I think this game was won in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, you can clearly see this was a team effort. Let's start in the fourth quarter at the 7:43 mark. Rudy Gobert hits this insane fadeaway shot. Missed layup by Gordon. Gordon gets the rebound. Turnover by Gordon. McDaniels with the steal. Gordon fouls. McDaniels makes both free throws. Rudy Gobert fouls. Town fouls. And Joker hits a 3 at the 6:46 mark. Nothing from Anthony Edwards. Here we see Anthony Edwards at the 6:23 mark. Missed fadeaway. Timberwolves get the rebound. Joker foul. Rudy Gobert makes 1 free throw. You get the sub. Another sub. Rudy Gobert, he makes 2 free throws at the 6:21 mark. And Michael Porter Jr. misses a 3 at the 6-minute mark. Offensive rebound by Joker at the 6:57. At the 5:57. 5:56 Edwards rebound. 5:52 Edwards miss running layup. Edwards miss again. Caldwell Pope, he gets a block at 5:52. 5:52 rebound by the Timberwolves. 5:43 Rudy Gobert offensive foul. Turnover by Gobert. 13-foot fadeaway jumper by Jamal Murray. He makes it. Reed hits a finger roll. 5:02 mark, timeout. 5:49 mark, you see Jamal Murray with a floater. He makes that. Miss 3-point shot by Reed. Rebound by Gobert. Miss layup by Edwards. Rebound by Reed. Caldwell Pope foul. Reed makes 2 free throws. Miss 9-foot turnaround fadeaway shot by Nikola Jokic. Reed gets a block shot. Conley rebound. Anthony Edwards misses a step back 3 at the 3:28 mark. And at the 3:27 mark, Reed gets a rebound. Jamal Murray turnover at the 3:11 mark. Conley steal. That was at 3:11. At 3:07, we see Anthony Edwards make a 3 to put them up 10. You can clearly see this was a team effort. I said all that to say this. This team works so well together. They depend on one another. They're not solely dependent on Anthony Edwards. Okay, Anthony Edwards, it's on you. Take us home. Take us home, AE. Take us home. Of course, if the game is close, but they're down. They're like, okay, I know it has to be a team effort. And Anthony Edwards, he wasn't like, okay, now I need to start taking more shots. I need to be more aggressive. I need to make a big play, even though we're down 20. He said, no, let's chip away. And you can clearly see this was a team effort. Kudos to the Timberwolves. I spent a lot of time on them. Moving on to Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, this team really made some great adjustments at the trade deadline. Of course, PJ Washington, Gafford, and PJ Washington, who has become a corner sniper, who's able to make that corner 3-point shot, who's able to defend. His defense on SGA was so good. It was great defense. Because one thing about SGA, he loves to get to the mid-range and he loves to do pump fakes and maybe up and under here. He wants to get you off your feet. You have to be disciplined. PJ Washington stayed down, guarded Shea, and was able to make Shea give up the ball multiple times throughout this series. The defense by PJ Washington was really tremendous. And I know Luka's defense has stepped up a lot. He's doing more than just playing the passing lanes, because you can consider that defense, but I don't know. It's really like gambling, but he's actually staying in front of his defender and not fouling so much at times. He's becoming not a great defender, but a solid defender. And Kyrie Irving's defense has been tremendous throughout these 2 rounds of this postseason. But to see them just gut it out and get this series win in 6 versus a good team. Now, with Oklahoma City Thunder, I see that they need another scoring option. They need somebody like a Brandon Ingram, or maybe they have somebody like a Jaylen Brown. They need another wings, a guy who can create for them, that's somebody outside of Shea who can create for themselves and create for others. Because Lou Dort, he's a great defender, but he cannot create for himself. And Williams and other shooters, they really can't create for themselves. Just catch and shoot. In Holmgren, maybe in the future he can be able to create for himself, but now he's just a great shot blocker, and he can knock down that corner 3 and that 3 at the top of the key as well. But Shea, outside of him, there's nobody who can really create their own shot. So you need to add a wing guy who can help Shea in creating shots for themselves and creating shots for others. Other than that, if you don't add that this offseason, I don't see how this team can get past the first round again. I truly don't, because I don't think they were. If Zion was healthy, I didn't see them getting past the Pelicans. Let's be honest. That was just my opinion. And I still feel that way, even though they swept the Pelicans. You need another scorer on this Oklahoma City team, and it was pretty evident when they went up against the Dallas Mavericks, even though you held Luka to only 24 points per game, and he really didn't play that great this series. Of course, he's hurt a little bit, but he's not making any excuses. I appreciate that from Luka. Luka is not looking for calls from the refs or complaining. He's effective, but only averaging 24 points and 15 points a game from Kyrie Irving, and you're still able to get past this Oklahoma City team, which is a young, good team, very well composed down the stretch. This is a good team that they beat. They truly are. And I don't think they were the worst number 1 seed of all time. Shannon Sharp. I don't think so at all. I don't think they were the worst number 1 seed of all time. But one thing has to be spoken of here. Derek Lively, who has just become an animal, a monster on the boards. He's like almost a better version than Rudy Gobert without the impact on defense that Gobert currently has. But his play is it's contagious. He's grabbing every rebound. He doesn't give up on plays. He's diving on the floor. He's making putbacks. He's handling and catching the ball well. He's not turning over the ball so much. He's not getting the ball stripped a lot. This guy will be so good in the near future. He truly will, once he mold his game to just finishing a little stronger around the rim. But without him, I don't see how they will get past the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now he has a tall task in the next round against Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, just being able to get rebounds over these 2 towers. We'll see how that will work, but he was so effective against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And kudos to the Mavs. It's a good thing to see this Mavs team make it to the Western Conference Finals after seeing everything about Kyrie and Luka, and Kyrie not being able to play together. Just this team just cracking down. Kyrie Irving is a bad teammate when he actually embraces Luka, says Luka is the leader of this team, and Kyrie is just like, man, I'm here for the ride, and I will fill in where I need to fill in. He never forces the action. He's sacrificing his body on defense. Kyrie Irving looks like a tremendous teammate. And the takes about Kyrie is looking real bad. It's looking like spoiled milk right now. Let's be honest. I didn't know for sure these 2 would completely work out, but I saw them working out. They just needed some time to gel together. And the 2 guys are committed on defense, and that might be a huge thanks to Jason Kidd on that end. But that was a wonderful series to watch. To the East, the Cavaliers versus the Boston Celtics. To be honest, let's talk about the Cavaliers here. A lot of rumors going around about Donovan Mitchell being upset, and he denied all of that, said it was lies. Of course, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. It seems like the Cavaliers have to make a decision between those 2, but if you lose either one, of course, this team isn't really a playoff team, and this team doesn't get past the first round. If you lose Darius Garland in the offseason, this team would never get past the first round unless you replace him with a solid point guard. And I don't see what other point guard that's available right now that you can replace Darius Garland with and actually make it past the first round in the near future. I don't see that. You lose Donovan Mitchell. Of course, this team might not even be a playoff team. Let's be honest. But the Boston Celtics, they did what they needed to do. Beat the Cavaliers. Of course, no Donovan Mitchell for 2 games. No Jarrett Allen. He's been hurt. So I expected the Boston Celtics to do what the Boston Celtics did. I just need them to just get ready for the Indiana Pacers. And I think they can beat them in at least 5 games. But to be honest, I don't have much to say about this Celtics team just yet. Only thing that I hope is KP comes back soon, because I think they might need KP against this Indiana Pacers team. Fast, up tempo, they get a lot of offensive boards. They're active on the board, so maybe they might need KP, but I for sure know that they will need KP in the NBA Finals, whether you face Dallas or Minnesota. Beating the Cavaliers was something that we all expected them to do. Jason Tatum, he's getting into more of a rhythm. This round, I feel like he was in more of a rhythm this round. He didn't really look like the Tatum I saw maybe in the regular season, but he's getting a groove here and there. I mean, most of these games, you're blowing teams out. You're sitting out the fourth quarter. I don't want to say it's a cakewalk because it's the NBA. It's not a cakewalk. It's not that easy. Games still have to be played, and you still have to win those games, and that's what they did. So, but Derek White, Drew Holiday has been consistent. They have been huge, and Jaylen Brown has been good as well. So the Celtics are just doing what the Celtics do, I guess, in the East so far, because the teams that they face, it always was like, okay, this team, they'll beat the Heat in 4, and they beat them in 5. They'll beat the Cavs in probably 4. Donovan Mitchell won 1 game. He gets injured, of course. Yeah, the Celtics win that series. So the test that the Celtics will get is in the finals, to be honest, just my opinion. Moving on to the Knicks versus the Pacers. This series was definitely just came down to injury. This team was beat up from Randle, no Randle. Of course, you need Randle to make it to the NBA Finals. I know a lot of people saying this team can make it to the NBA Finals without Julius Randle. I didn't see that happening. You need Julius Randle on that floor to make it to the NBA Finals. We saw Jalen Brunson hurt his hand, fracture his hand, and Paul Pierce, you're stepping on his jersey on social media. Why? Why, Paul Pierce? Why do the old heads always have to be like this towards the young guys? And he didn't even face the Celtics. What did Jalen Brunson do to you, Paul Pierce? I truly want to know, Paul Pierce, what did Jalen Brunson do to you for him to deserve to get his jersey stepped on? I don't know. I know that's off topic here, but why, Paul? Why? Just curious. Why would you do such a thing? Anyway, Jalen Brunson, he gets hurt. OG Anunoby, he gets hurt. Didn't play game 3, 4, 5, or 6, I think, either. Came back game 7, really compromised, limping. Josh Hart, he's injured as well. So it really couldn't. The Knicks team, to be honest, if they get past the Indiana Pacers, they get swept by the Celtics just due to injury and fatigue. This team is beat up. No Mitchell Robinson either. The team is beat up. So it probably was a good thing from a fan perspective. I want to see great games be played, tight games, close games be played, and we will get that, I think, from the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics. The East is not exciting as the West, but I still think the second round has been dicey in the East. Didn't see this happening when it came to the Knicks. Jalen Brunson getting hurt, OG Anunoby getting hurt. I didn't see that happening, and I had them going to the Eastern Conference Finals to face the Boston Celtics, but we won't see that happen. But so far, the NBA playoffs has been exciting. It's been fun to watch, and we only have 2 guys. We're really one lead guy from the 2010s left in this year's playoffs, and that's Kyrie Irving. So as a guy who grew up watching the early 2000s and the 2010s in that NBA era, I'm pulling for the Mavericks to pull it off, to win it all. to win it all. Maybe it's the old head in me. Okay, I'm not an old head. I'm not going to say that. I am not a old head. But this second round of the NBA playoffs has been exciting. Looking forward to seeing the Eastern Conference Finals to see what we will see. Maybe we might see something that we haven't seen before. Of course, we will this year because this year has been so unpredictable. Until next time, guys. Peace.